Serious, what is the most fucked up true story you know? NSFW. I used to work with a carpentry crew 20 years ago. We framed new houses and did remodels. We got a job for a remodel. This guy owned a house that had 2 floors with a large walk-up attic. He wanted the attic remodeled into a usable space. The first day we arrive at the job, the owner tells us that he is leaving for work and that if we need to use the restroom there is one in the basement. Just go down into the basement and at the end of the hallway you will see the bathroom on the right. So the entire crew is working, some of us are outside, a few are inside up in the attic. Eventually, one of the guys has used the restroom. He goes downstairs, is gone for a few minutes, and when he comes back up, he has this look like he saw a ghost. Everyone kind of notices that something is off. He asks if anybody else has been downstairs yet. Nobody had, and now we're all curious. He just says that he isn't really sure what is going on, but something is definitely not normal. Nobody at the time needed to go down there, so we all just went back to work. Eventually, somebody else needs to use the bathroom. That guy goes down, comes back up, and now he and the first guy are conversing about what they saw down there. Now we are all curious. So a few of us go downstairs. The first thing we see at the bottom of the stairs is there is a small room with chairs all around the walls, like a sitting area for a bunch of people. A little like a waiting room at a doctor's office, which it turns out is not far from the truth. Then we head down the hallway and there are rooms off this hallway on both sides. The rooms do not have doors though, just curtains across the doorways into the room. Each room has a waist-high table about 6 feet long. Then we start noticing the spigots in the walls, and that one room has a full-face respirator mask, like the kind firemen use. At this point, we are a little more than freaked out and we head back upstairs. As the day progresses, every time somebody goes down to use the bathroom, it reveals a different aspect of the area that nobody had noticed before. The final clue that revealed the purpose of the basement was a corkboard on the wall in the waiting room. It had pinned on it all these recipes for homemade colon enemas. That's when it dawned on us that the guy was running a homemade colon cleansing operation out of his basement. TLDR, homeowner doesn't tell us he runs a homemade colon cleansing operation out of his basement. We had to come to that discovery ourselves. When I was working as a locksmith, I got called on to change the locks on a house. Started doing the job, was there with a coworker, we were getting it done, no problem. The woman who called us there approaches us mid-job and starts chatting my colleague up, they're being friendly, and so she decides to bust out, "Hey, wanna see something freaky?" Of course my buddy says yeah. I wasn't quite as keen because I knew this was about to go somewhere weird, but I follow along anyway. She leads us to a bedroom, opens the door, and there is blood everywhere. I mean everywhere. The bed is soaked, the walls are covered with handprints smearing it everywhere. It's all over the floor. It's all dry, not fresh. I'm also realizing that all of the spots I was seeing in the carpet, bear in mind I'm colorblind, are actually blood. It's all through the house, just not as heavy as the bedroom. It's spotted on the furniture, on the walls in the other rooms. So she starts telling us about how her brother shot himself in there that morning. Apparently he missed his brain and started stumbling around the house, before he finally got on the phone with 911 and they came and got him. Seems this was their mother's house who had passed away a year prior, and he started living there, when he was supposed to be preparing it to sell. Started actually looking around. I had assumed an old woman lived there because all of her stuff was out. Pills, half-finished crochet projects, etc. He had left it all there like he was living with her for the past year. Making it even weirder, his girlfriend was the only person he would allow into his room at the hospital. The sister suspected she had talked him into shooting himself, and believed that she had some stake in his will at that point so she could get the house. Crazy stuff. It was really weird and unexpected. I ran into a guy later on at a bar who turned out to be one of the EMTs who picked him up. Found out the guy died like a day after that. Small world. Throwaway account. It's fucked up because it happened to me. Met a girl when I was 25, she was 22. Dated for 3 years and eventually got married. She was a very wonderful person and I couldn't ask for a better girlfriend. While we were planning a wedding, she mentioned that her ex-boyfriend offered to DJ for free. They dated for 3 years when she was 15 to 18, and it was a clean breakup. He was also married so I really didn't have a problem with it. I mean, free DJ service. So, we get married and go to the reception. Everyone is having a grand time. I was talking with a buddy of mine and in the corner of my eye, I see the DJ ex-boyfriend staring at something. I look over and he's staring at my wife who looked amazing, and my wife was staring back at him. I continued to talk to my buddy but kept an eye on them. She was across the room, but they smiled at each other and she started looking around the room, probably for me, but I was pretty well hidden. My wife walked towards the bathroom area and the DJ asked his assistant to take over and started walking in the same direction. I started to panic inside. I excused myself and walked in the direction. Couldn't find either one. There were 3 bathrooms, one for men, one for women, and a family bathroom that locked inside. I went into the men's room, no one there. I waited for a few minutes and the family bathroom opened up and my wife saw me and tried to get me to go dance, but I wasn't budging. The guy eventually came out few minutes later, and my wife swore up and down that he was just helping her with her dress. I left. She called my phone and again swore that nothing happened. We talked about it the next day, but I couldn't grasp why she would need him, of all people, to help with that sort of thing. I was able to get an annulment. I never remarried. I've told this before on Reddit. The Ballad of N March. I went to a small, rural high school, and freshman year we had a new student from Philly named Nick Martin. Growing up in an urban area had made Nick think he was, in his own words, gangsta hood. He was a shrimpy white boy who wore huge oversized white tees and baggy pants. He legitimately wanted a career as a rapper, and his rap name was N March. He would, without irony, challenge other students to rap battles to resolve his beefs. He was, of course, mocked mercilessly for all of this. Sometime after freshman year, he vanished from school. Rumors said he had gotten into a violent fight with his dad and had been sent to a juvenile detention center. The latter part was confirmed when, junior year, he broke out of juvie and was on the run for a while. Then he faded from all of our memories. Until my senior year of college. By this point, he was still living in my hometown and was a 22-year-old meth and other drugs addict dating a drug-addicted 17-year-old high school girl. One night, they got into a fight, so he stabbed her to death with a screwdriver in his living room. He took her nude body, put it in a garbage bag in his pickup truck, and disposed of it about 10 miles out of town in a marsh where locals would dispose of deer carcasses. He left her body in a pile of dead deer. The next day, he bragged about it over beers to his friend, who turned him in. Police found her body, found blood in his carpet and a muddy shovel in his pickup truck, and he is now serving out a murder sentence. N Mar ended up being way more hard than we ever expected.